Cathy DeWitt is coming on from DeWitt Dunn. Yeah, you know about her. She's been all over the station longer than I've been here. Welcome, Cathy. Let's talk about money.
Well, let's talk about it. And having a radio show is a difficult thing, isn't it?
It's the feedback weirds me out because humans, we're funny animals sometimes, Cathy.
Well, radio is definitely one of the great things that drives our listeners, obviously, and it's entertaining. But I will tell you, after being on the radio here in DFW for 25 years, it is interesting, the feedback that we all get.
Well, I feel like I talk about so much more important things. The economy, the war and peace, and all these social issues, and abortion and immigration, and people seized on Ellie Mae Clampett. This is what I have to hear about. All right, we had some good news on the economic front. The inflation report. How do you digest that? What do you think of the inflation report today, Cathy?
Well, I think it's great news, right? Anytime we see numbers that are lower than what we anticipated, it's something to clap for and to rally for. But I mean, there's a lot of things that are also in the news, and markets react to the news, whether, we've seen a lot of things with tariffs. Yes, we do have some good news, but we got to kind of take it out and look at it, the next quarter or two to see what's going to happen.
Well, I think the uncertainty is the big X factor here. Whether or not the tariffs stay or go, I think the market will be fine either way, but not knowing is just kind of putting the brakes on some economic activity is what I feel like out there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I think, one of the challenges is with how the current administration is handling things. It's just that it's a little bit of whiplash, right? And things are being implemented quickly. We have tariffs that are going to come, they're going to go. And then, we've got, Canada that just released today that they're going to hit us with $20 billion of measures that's going to impact, our economy. So at a certain point, we got to take a look at this, take a deep breath. The market's gone straight up over, the last decade plus. And we need to make sure that we are looking at all of our positions and making sure that we're not like a deer in the headlights later down the road here, because it could happen quickly.
Well, we've heard a lot of people over the last couple of weeks say, well, the economy's going to crash. The economy's going to crash. And it's hard to put too much stock in that because it's such a political topic. The economy will always be somewhat political. But, the sources that are telling me this, are these the same people that were telling me Biden wouldn't be replaced last year or inflation was transitory the year before that? So it's kind of hard to find the people to trust when it comes to economic predictions.
Yeah, but let's just say hypothetically the economy crashes, right? Well, then that's a great buying opportunity, but make sure whatever you're doing right now that you're not putting in your positions and that you're going to sell them off, and take a big hit. So you have to make sure that you're well diversified, because any time that we do see a correction, if you position yourself correctly, you can come out ahead on the other side, but it doesn't help you if you're in retirement or you're taking income or you're trying to figure out what you're going to do for your next vacation, because the uncertainty is really what people are worried about right now, and that's what really drives the markets. And, people, we need to be aware of it, but we don't need to be so fearful.
Yeah, I like how you sound like you're talking to one person, like that do-it-yourself investor. If someone calls in and they're like, Cathy, you're my financial advisor, what move should I be making now? What would you tell the guy listening to us if he was your client?
Well, we've had that all this week, right, and some of last week. So just take a deep breath. And the money that you have in the market, if you can't afford to lose it, you probably shouldn't be taking big swings because, we're seeing that everybody's trying to think that they're going to hit a home run with AI and, the NASDAQ kind of goes up, it can come down. So if you are well diversified and you have assets in your portfolio doing other things that aren't necessarily correlated to each other, you're not freaking out. You're not panicking. So you have to have a great plan, because you don't retire for one day, 1 month, or 1 year. You retire for a lifetime. And you just can't be looking at saying what's happening domestically and also globally and, be fearful that it's going to impact your retirement. Then you don't have a good plan in place, because that's not how our clients feel right now. Yeah,
well, that's kind of the pushback on the people who complain, like, oh, my IRA is getting killed. It's like, well, maybe you're overweighted in stocks. Maybe some of that's your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Where you've got a lot of mutual funds, and they're all correlated to the same asset class. And so, if there's a little dip in the market, your portfolio goes straight down. Well, then you maybe need to get a second opinion. And a lot of people that are do-it-yourselfers, we've seen a lot of people that have made some really great money here in the market over the last few years. But just remember, markets go up and markets go down. So you need to make sure that you're well diversified and you know what the heck you're doing.
All right, this is Cathy DeWitt from DeWitt and Dunn. You've probably heard her on the weekends here or our sister station, but you can check out our website, DeWittandDunn.com. And by the way, your glasses, the little tortoiseshell-looking ones, absolutely adorable. Love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right, it's Cathy DeWitt from DeWitt and Dunn. See a little optimism for the economy. Not everyone has to be a doomsayer around here. What do you think about the economy? What do you think about the inflation report? Are you making any moves? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.